for joining us for our coffee conversations here with Forge Breast Cancer Survivor Center. We're super excited to have Brenda Hong here from Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies to talk about something that's really important, just the resources that are available for women of color who are diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer can look very differently for many individuals who are diagnosed, but there are certain barriers that women of color experience that others might not be able to identify with. So really important topic that we're really excited to have an expert here to tell us about. And Brenda herself is a survivor, so really, she's not speaking just from something she read online, it's something she knows from her own experience. So Brenda, if you could just kind of introduce yourself to everybody who might not be familiar with you, so that we can kind of get into this topic.
Great. My name is Brenda Phillips Hong, and I am a 33-year breast cancer victor. Initially, I was diagnosed here in Birmingham, but I did not receive my treatments here. I was fortunate enough to be able to get diagnosed here, and I traveled to California to have my treatments. I am founder and executive director of Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies, which is an organization that was founded in 2010. And the reason we moved forward with just this not being just a social situation was because just to go somewhere once a month and have coffee or anything. It was started initially in Detroit, Michigan, where I was living between Birmingham and Detroit at the time. This has been a journey of fulfillment. It's been a journey of finding the need and trying to help with whatever the situation is. My organization was, and when I say my organization, I simply mean that because I'm the founder. I have 20 some members. Without them, this organization would not do any of the things that it does. So I'm glad to be here this morning and being able to share whatever information people need and what you are requesting.
Thank you so much, Brenda, and thank you for, being a trailblazer and starting the organization and having that vision and executing that vision with your team. That is something that is always celebrated, especially in our community. So thank you for all that you do. Could you tell us a little bit about what are some of I'm jumbling my words. What are some of the disparities that women of color see when diagnosed with breast cancer?
Okay, I'm going to start with the self-realization. As I said previously, I was diagnosed here in Birmingham 30 odd years ago, and I was told that I had breast cancer over the telephone. I was living, as I said, between Birmingham and Detroit. My work area was in Detroit. So I came home because I was not at myself. I was kind of sluggish, not feeling very well. Had no idea I was going to be diagnosed with breast cancer. But to be told that you have breast cancer over the telephone, I think is a disparity in and of itself. I think this is universal. I don't think it's not necessarily something that goes on in one particular area of the country. First of all, we as women of color desire to always be the fixer. We want to help everybody but ourselves, and we always seem to come last. That's why it's so important that we understand that we can't help or fix anything if we're not well ourselves. Mm-hmm. The disparity of even getting a mammogram is a difficult task with women of color. This does not mean that this is because you're poor. you cannot have insurance for several reasons. You can be going from one job to the next, and one insurance doesn't carry on to the other while you're in the process of going from one job to the other, or even finding a job. So the disparity of getting help itself is a phenomenal situation that we have to try to get people to understand that when you need help, you have to ask for it. We're proud women. Oftentimes, opportunities or services that are available to us, we don't seek out to get that, afraid to ask for help. We have to come away from that. A lot of the disparities, to me, comes from the way that we're taught to be strong, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with strength, to want to be independent. But we have to kind of snap out of that and move forward to getting the help that we need. I think not just, so now you're diagnosed. Then you have to seek physicians who listen to you. I don't think any of us want to be considered somebody who does not know their body. But I think we have a self-inscripted thing to know when we're not feeling good, it's a reason why we're not feeling well. So once you're diagnosed, so now you have to find a physician who will listen to you, who will take everything that you say, not that you're a hypochondriac, but because you have certain symptoms, or say, for instance, we know that normally we do chemo or radiation to delve into trying to deal with the diagnosis of breast cancer. So in doing so, as I said, the disparity is trying to find a doctor who will listen to you. So now you found the doctor. Then now you have to deal with what has happened to you. A woman's breast is apparent. So to wake up in the morning and some part of your body is missing, whether you've had a lumpectomy or a mastectomy or whatever, there is something that happens to us. So we need to be able to go and talk to somebody other than our cousin, who is not a breast cancer survivor, has nothing, no knowledge of it. We need to understand that there are counselors, there are organizations, but to me, the first thing to do is to get professional help so that your road to recovery is not as it was 50 years ago. To see a counselor does not mean that you are crazy, neurotic, or any of that. It means that you need help to guide you through. I think a lot of us, I did not have chemo, I had radiation. And subsequent to that, I had friends who took me to my radiation treatments. That's a very lonely time. If we don't incorporate, and here again, ask people for help, they won't know that we need it. They can suspect that we do because they know the word cancer itself is a dramatic situation for anyone. But we need to, again, learn how to ask for help. And the disparity is not just getting a mammogram. It's not just once you've been diagnosed, now you have to seek treatment. Treatment, and I want to repeat myself purposely, treatment is not just somebody giving you radiation or giving you chemo. A form of treatment is counseling as well. I think so.
Yeah, it's like a team effort.
And once, yes, absolutely. I like that phrase, a team effort, to bring you back to where you need to be, where you should be. I think overall it has improved to me over the last years as it relates to mammograms being available. There are a lot of organizations that help with mammograms right here in Birmingham. The disparities are not as they were years ago, but they're not where they should be. We have to begin to be an advocate, not just for, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I think that a lot of that is, doing the research, and or if you're not able to do the research, just being open to the resources that might be around you. Because I know you mentioned earlier about how we as women of color have this strong, I'm strong, I don't need the help, and I can power through it, I can pray through it, or whatever have you not. But the reality is that you don't have to be. It's okay to need people, because we're all people. And then if someone's offering help, even if you're too prideful to ask for it, but to accept the help is even a challenge sometimes, because even still, you feel like some of your power is being taken away from accepting the help, even though it's what you need.
Right. As I said, I think we ourselves are a part of the disparity because of that mere thing of not asking for help. And the thing of being strong is you want to maintain that strength. And sometimes we just have to understand that strength cometh from the Lord. Help cometh from the Lord as well. But we also need to understand that we're here to help each other and be able to accept that help that is available. And I'm so proud to be associated with Forge and other organizations that help us to get the word out, to have a conversation like this morning, to let people know what's available for us, and to be an advocate, not just for ourselves, but an advocate for a better treatment. And sometimes we have to demand in a nice way, sometimes in a stern way, but to get an understanding that you will not be denied what is available, and you will not be denied what you know your birthright is.
Thank you so much, Brenda. I know that we had kind of talked a little bit yesterday, but I wanted to make sure to mention, I have a couple things I want to ask you to provide for everyone on the call and those who will watch. So I would love it if you could tell us what specific services, if someone reaches out to Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies, what services can they expect to kind of take advantage of? What are some things in the community that someone who's diagnosed or learning about breast cancer can benefit from, that your organization provides? And my follow-up question to that is, what are some things that you all have going on in the community that you'd like to share, so that we can get more involved and know what's coming up, and might be a good step into that world for someone who's making that transition into, hey, I've been diagnosed, or my mom's been diagnosed, or my cousin, or whomever, and I need to learn more. I need to know what's out there and how to take advantage of it.
Great. The services we provide. First of all, let me talk about the mammograms. We provide mammograms for people who do not have insurance or the ability to pay for a mammogram. And that's done via the events that we have, people donating. The services, the mammograms are done at St. Vincent East, St. Vincent on the south side, Brookwood, and Princeton. Those are the 4 facilities. We're working on UAB, and hopefully because they have purchased St. Vincent, we'll be able to go into having free mammograms at UAB. They were a bit higher than the agreement that we had at the other facility. That's why we're not at UAB. But and we do the mammograms. You don't call us to make an appointment. You call places and you tell them that you want a mammogram via Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies, and they will facilitate that for you.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Brenda, can you hear us and see us? I know we lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we provide transportation not to get a mammogram. We provide, once you've been diagnosed, we provide transportation to local breast cancer treatment centers. We work with JB Transport. They will come and pick you up from your home and take you and come back and pick you up. So it's a round trip type transportation. You call us directly for that. And that number would be area code 205-588-0703. We also work with other organizations. Let me say this, in the process of doing the mammograms and the transportation, we don't pay utilities, we do not pay rent, and those type of things, but we partner with Sisters Can Survive, Sister Survivors, and Pink Tops. And we make an annual donation to them because we don't do, and I should include co-pays as well. Those are some of the things that we do not do. But the organizations that I mentioned do that. And so we donate to them annually so that we can help with those things, but not coming directly through us. We also provide community health forums. In fact, we have one coming up tomorrow. We partner with Counselor Alexander, and it's going to be at Wiggins Park tomorrow from 5:30 to 6:30. And we talk about at the community health forums, breast cancer, prostate cancer, healthy eating and living, even finance oftentimes. So the community health forums are done. We had one back in February, we did the Black Pride Ride, and we had speakers there at Kelly Ingram Park. So one of the other things that we do, we partner with the Birmingham Black Nurses Association, and we give a scholarship. We call it a Scholarship Assistance Award to a deserving nursing student. So if you guys know of anyone who is a nursing student and has an interest in breast cancer, you can contact the Birmingham Black Nurses Association and possibly get our assistance with the scholarship issue. We try to get into the high schools as well, because we feel that, of course, the earlier you start with a program or a thought pattern, the better off you are. So we've been to Jackson Olin and Parker High School, and we do that, try to do a couple of 3 annually to go in and talk to the boys and girls about breast cancer. And it's an experience for them as well as us, because they can take that information home. And a lot of times that helps coming from the youthful person. We have coming up in next month in September, we have what we call Sister Strut. And it's at Legion Field. This will be our 13th annual Sister Strut. So we get together and have a good time. We honor those people who are breast cancer survivors, and we do a walk, but it's a party for a celebration of life and to get people aware of things. So we discuss the journeys of those people who come and join us and want to share their story as well. But we have a great time with the walk. We have music, line dancing. The food is fish and grits. And speaking of healthy living, we also have rotisserie chicken with rice as well as a nice salad. So try to keep that in mind as well. But all around, we try community health forums in various areas like Wiggins Park or One Pratt Park is coming up, I believe, next month. And that's with Counselor Tate. And then we also work with Counselor Smitherman in the Smithfield area. And then we have one in October with Commissioner Tyson in the West End or Smithfield area as well. So we're trying to come into the community to bring a message of we're here to help and give information to try to make people hopeful that there is a better lifestyle. And we welcome people to let us know how we can help them. If we're doing something that you'd like us to, we're not doing something that you'd like us to include or not come into an area, we're always open for suggestions.
Thank you so much, Brenda. And I think that the awareness and the approach that you take is just so awesome. I love that y'all are going to the schools because, you know, we can grow up with the stigma if we're not educated about what something is and what it means and what it can look like. So I just want to commend y'all for having that strategy to say, hey, like, let's talk to the kids so they can go ahead and know what's going on. And maybe the people in their households will be a little bit more receptive as to what this means and breaking it down and just kind of taking the fear out of the whole topic, whether it's the mental health, whether it's the breast cancer, and then learning about, oh, this resource is here. And this is the organization that they partner with. And these are the things they're doing in the community and how we can get involved and benefit from it possibly if needed. Brenda, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out today to talk to us to discuss this topic, because I feel like it is a heavy one that can go in many different directions, right? But thank you so much for all that you do for the community. Thank you for taking the time out to talk with us on today about the resources that you provide, about the partnerships that are in the community and available to women of color and ultimately all women, right? And also just being so transparent about your journey. And I really hope that we get to do something like this again. You're such a joy to speak with.
I do too. I think this is so important for people to just have a relaxed situation like I feel this is, not to be intimidated. I'm sorry about my internet problem, but
it's okay. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna do it again, and the internet's gonna be great.
Yes.
Well,
yes, indeed.